All right, good morning. We're going to go ahead and start the Monday weekly briefing for the period February 3rd through February 9th. Yes, we've started another month. January's long and gone. Since we last had the briefing, we actually maybe have seen our 5 minutes of winter on Friday as a good portion of the area saw a brief period of some snow in the Triad, where they had some places had a little bit of accumulation on the grass and elevated surfaces, and then in the Triangle and other parts we saw a brief period of some sleet mixed with rain. I know here we're talking about it. Are we going to get that cold period so we can get a chance for snow for the snow lovers? And we're just not sure. So if you like snow, I will tell you this: we don't have any chance for the next week. Although we are going to have some very active weather. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. As I mentioned, this week's going to be very active. But starting out today and tomorrow, we're going to stay dry, but we're going to see some very unseasonably warm temperatures. We're going to average basically about 15 to 20 degrees above normal over the next couple of days, and even into Wednesday and Thursday. So you're talking about temperatures in the 70s for the most part, and during the afternoon and at night, looking at temperatures in the 50s and eventually in the 60s. And all of that's basically because we have, as you can see in that upper left graphic, we have that area of high pressure that's residing over the southeast and western Atlantic. We call that Bermuda High. So you have that southeasterly and southwesterly flow around that high, and that pumps in that warm and moist air into the area. But then as we get into midweek, we're going to see a very strong upper level trough. It's going to move very slowly across the central U.S. And eventually it's going to reach the eastern U.S. by the end of the week. There's a cold front that's associated with that upper level trough, and the models are showing that cold front really starting to slow down in that area around Tennessee. In Mississippi Valley. So that front, as you can see right here, to the west of the mountains, it's going to sit there for almost about 2 to 2.5 days. And we're just going to see a continuous feed of some very, very deep moisture. As we're sitting here 4 and 5 days out, we've been watching this for several days now. And some of the parameters that we're seeing that we measure the magnitude of what we call upper level troughs, they're off the charts. So this has the potential to be a very anomalous event for us. And I'll get into that a little bit more. That front should be east and offshore by Friday, and by the weekend, it should be much quieter and temperatures should be more seasonable. If we look at the severe thunderstorm potential for the next 3 days, you can see by day 3, we're seeing some light green starting to poke northeast into western and southwestern portions of North Carolina, basically in the general thunder. And if you look a little bit further to the southwest, you can see in parts of Georgia a marginal threat for severe storms. I included, if you look in the lower right-hand portion, I included the day 4 probability. And when you get to day 4, as you guys very well know, there's a lot of uncertainty. But given, as I mentioned, how strong this upper level trough is, we've seen probabilities all the way out to day 6. And for SPC to start talking about severe weather potential on day 6, that's pretty rare. That lets you know the magnitude of the strength of this front coming in this trough. So right now, this is what it's looking like for day 4. You can see that a good portion of central North Carolina, it right now is in this 15% probability for severe weather. And you might be thinking, well, 15% is not that high. No, that is a high risk when you're talking about something out to day 4, day 5. And again, this severe threat right now looks like it's going to be Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. So I recommend everybody, check in. We have that Thursday briefing. That's the reason we started doing the Thursday briefings, is to give you guys more frequent updates. So you're definitely going to want to tune in on Thursday. We will likely be issuing our more detailed briefings before that as the system evolves. Looking at the rainfall, remember how I mentioned that front comes into the Tennessee Valley and it's very slow moving. In the meantime, before that front even comes in on Thursday night, we're going to be looking at another cold front that's going to drop in from the south on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening out of Virginia. So we're kind of looking at a multi-day heavy rain event. So the first chance we start seeing decent rain across central North Carolina is going to start late Wednesday and Wednesday night with that cold front. Now, when that front gets down here, and some of the models keep it in Virginia, some bring it into northern North Carolina, that's going to be a very favorable location for some very localized heavy rainfall. So that could be what we call the predecessor heavy rain event. So that could occur in the time frame of, like I said, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. And then we get that strong upper level trough and that cold front that's in the Tennessee Valley coming in. And then we're going to see a period Thursday night of additional heavy rainfall. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of the parameters that we check for these events, one thing is measuring how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And what we're seeing right now, we're seeing by the forecast measures, we're seeing moisture that we've never seen this time of year. So that's talking about record level moisture. It's called precipitable waters, but we're looking at some of the highest precipitable waters we've ever seen for early December. So that's very remarkable. So when you have that much moisture that's coming out all the way out of the Gulf of Mexico, and you have that slow moving cold front, that's why you're seeing a lot of these reds. So as you see, and I zoomed in, I got a zoomed in version of this. You see all these reds. That is a widespread heavy rainfall event. And this is what the ensembles are showing. So this is like 50 to 100 models. You take the average, and when you average 100 models, and you're coming up with a widespread heavy rainfall event of 2 to 4 inches, and you see it's encompassing a good part of central North Carolina, you got something on your hand. You factor in that, hey, it's been really wet over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to see some responses. And so with this heavy rainfall, we're expecting that we're going to have some flash flood issues, and we're going to have some river flood issues. And that's what we're looking at in this next graphic here. So let me explain this. So we got two forecasts here. One's the Hall River, and that's in Alamance County, and the other one is the Neuse River at Smithfield. And this is a forecast. This is one of those ensemble forecasts that's using that rainfall that I just showed you, that 2 to 4 inches of rain. And it's saying, okay, if we have 2 to 4 inches of rain in these basins and all that flows into our rivers, what is that going to do given our current river levels? So I showed the Hall River because this is one of our flashier rivers. This river really responds really quick. So you can see there's probably, like I said, 40 to 60 models, and that black line you see, that's the average. So you can see when you take the average of all those different ensemble members, it takes it into major flooding. Now look how quickly it goes up, because we're expecting the bulk of that rain to occur on the 6th, which is Thursday. So you can see by that midnight and going into the early morning hours on the 7th, that river's already going into major flood. Okay. Now we look to the right, we're looking at the Neuse River, and that's in Smithfield. This river takes longer to respond on the magnitude of 1 to 2 days. So you can see when we expect the heaviest rain on the 6th, by the time you get into the 8th, we're experiencing, and there's a second bump you can see there, we're experiencing major flooding there as well. So, again, right now, what we're seeing, this could end up being a very significant event in terms of flooding. And we will continue to provide updates on this. All right. So in short, oh, I need to go back. One thing. Well, I can address it here. So yes, so it'll be mostly dry through tomorrow night. Very unseasonably warm. So get out there these next 2 days if you want to do anything outdoors. Um, but then as we get into late Wednesday and Wednesday night, we should see rain chances starting to increase, especially up there across the northern portions of the area. And then rain should continue. Chances should continue to increase everywhere as we get into Thursday and Thursday night when that cold front comes into the area. Now, I didn't address this as much as I needed to, so I'll address it now. Um, when that cold front comes into the area, given how strong the forcing is with this system, and we're going to have incredible what we call wind shear. The winds through the atmosphere are just going to be remarkably strong, near record levels possible. There's going to be that threat for severe weather, and at this time, it's possible we could see a widespread wind damage, and perhaps an even more isolated tornado threat. That time at this point looks like it's going to be Thursday afternoon, the greatest threat Thursday afternoon through Thursday night. Again, it's too early getting to the details, but so basically Wednesday night through Friday morning, we're expecting to have a lot of weather around, very significant weather, very impactful weather, and everybody should be situationally aware. That front will go to the east, and then we're expecting drier conditions. The temperatures should cool back down by the weekend. So yeah, this is a lot of times I'm doing these briefings. It's very quiet, so we actually have weather, and so everyone, as we move on, our confidence over the next couple of days should continue to increase. More than likely, we'll be seeing some of our briefings starting to come out. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, email us or call us. You have our number. So that is it on my end. If we have any questions, now's the time to ask.